Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be looking at the free agency of the Green Bay Packers so far this year. The Aaron Rodgers trade still has not happened, and that kind of also puts a damper on some expectations as well. So, most of the signings that we have here are mainly special teams guys, which is still very, very important as they had a massive improvement under Rich Bisaccia last year, and it kind of seems like that Rich Bisaccia is the general manager of the Packers because all the guys we signed have been mainly special teamers, which is we need to keep that unit together. It was a massive improvement, really helped the team out a lot, so important there. So the first guy we just re-signed yesterday is Dallin Levitt, safety, mainly a special teamer, guy who has spent all his career as a special teamer under Rich Bisaccia, and so this is definitely a signing for him. Led the team in special teams tackles with 13. Really good cover guy down there. And is a depth of safety. So I say good signing. Need to keep that together. Chris Barnes, the former undrafted free agent that started for 2 years in Green Bay, left the team and signed with the Arizona Cardinals on March 25th. He was a pretty solid guy. I mean, if you get any starting time out of an undrafted rookie, that's a really good pickup. He just got hurt the past couple years, and then guys like Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker overtook him. Even Isaiah McDuffie passed him on the depth chart. So it's just like not too big of a loss, as linebacker is a pretty solid position that we have with Campbell, Walker, and McDuffie. Another player to re-sign with us is Eric Wilson, who again is a special teamer, tied with Levitt for 13 tackles on special teams. Blocked a punt against the Jets, so it was really, really good. And he's also a very solid backup. He has started games in the past. And so if a guy goes down, Eric Wilson can be a guy who can come in and step up for the Packers, which I think is also very, very important. So good signing there too, and I like it. Another guy who, in my grading videos, I wanted the Packers to resign is Justin Hollins, as I thought he would be a really good rotational edge piece behind the starters, and the Packers did that. Really good pass rusher. 6 games as a reserve, 2.5 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and so again, just a depth guy. I imagine the Packers will add more to defensive end in the draft, but it's good to have just another guy who's been around the league, could be a solid guy as our 4th rotational piece. So, like the signing. A guy we really had to re-sign was Rudy Ford, as he's basically kind of the best safety on the roster, which, no offense to you, Rudy, you're a solid player. Not very good, as the safety room is really looking not great. But a long-time special team ace, really had a really solid year for him as his first full-time starter. 40 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 6 starts after kind of Darnell Savage kind of wasn't working out. And yeah, like it says here, began to start and special teamer as well. But the Packers really needed to address safety either in the draft or after they make the Rodgers trade, because we need safeties. We really do. And then we signed Corey Ballantyne, who is another core special teamer. So, just a guy who is depth corner, gunner, special teamer, basically a guy that Rich Bisaccia likes. Like I said, all these guys, they're Rich Bisaccia's guys, which, I mean, he really improved the special team, so I don't blame the Packers for doing that. We lost Dean Lowry, who has been a long time man on the Packers. 252 tackles, 15.5 sacks in his career. Kind of did not play well at all last year. Took time away from young guys like TJ Slayton and Devontae Wyatt, who really were better than him, just straight up. And so it's kind of a good thing he wasn't there. Not signed back. I didn't want the Packers to bring him back, mainly because he did not play well, got beat off the ball up, and took time away from the younger guys. But I wish him all the luck. Sad he went to the Vikings, but I do wish you all the luck, Dean. And so we now have Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Clark, and TJ Slayton as the main guys in our rotation. So the Packers might want to pick up another guy in the draft or in free agency later on. A guy who the Packers signed is safety Tarvarius Moore, drafted by the 49ers in the third round in 2018. 61 regular season games, 13 starts. Again, another guy who could also do special teams if he's not starting. So it could be interesting to see if he becomes a starter with the Packers or he is a backup / special teamer. So there's some flexibility with him there. Again, like I said with Rudy Ford, we need to get a safety. We need to get a one quality starting safety either in the draft or in free agency. We just can't sit around on this position. We need to spend either a first round pick on one or a second round pick on a safety because we need a good one. We signed a long snapper, Matt Orzech, unrestricted free agency, 50 career games as a long snapper. So now we have him and Jack Coco as the two long snappers battling out in camp. See which one wins it. Big one, Alan Lazard left the Packers in free agency, signed with the New York Jets on a 4-year deal. So it'll be really interesting to see if him going there because he thinks Rodgers is going there. He's a solid receiver. He's not a number one guy. He definitely isn't number one. Doesn't have the talent to do it, but solid guy. Good blocker, decent pass catcher, so nothing too special there. He just went to the Jets because he's going with Rodgers, who kind of made him a career. So good for him to get in the bag, though. I don't blame him at all for getting that money. The Packers are never going to pay him that much, and I go get that money while I can, Alan. And good luck to you in New York. And then we lost Jarran Reed to Seattle. He went back to the Seahawks where he spent the early part of his career. He had a pretty good season with the Packers. I would have liked to see him re-sign as he was a solid depth guy along the line. Pretty decent run stopper, good pass rush. Like I said, second only to Kenny Clarkson defensive snaps. But it does lead Devontae Wyatt and TJ Slayton to have a bigger role, so I'm okay with that. Again, I like him just because of the veteran presence. But we got young guys that I want to see more. Big loss of Big Bob Tunyon went to Chicago. Undrafted guy, had a really great year in 2020, but struggled with injury in 2021, tearing his ACL. And he was a solid piece last year, third in receptions on the team, but didn't have the explosive plays or touchdowns that we had. But we need tight ends. That's one of the two positions we need in the draft, safety and the tight end, because all we got is Josiah DeGuara, who I think will have more of a role, because him and Jordan Love kind of have that bond, so I wouldn't be surprised if DeGuara has a pretty solid year next year, and Tyler Davis, who I really don't see being on the team other than a special teamer. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers get one or two tight ends in this draft. We have to spend an early pick on one, and probably get one of the bigger body guys later on in like the 5th or 6th round. So good luck to you, Bob. I hate doing it in Chicago, but nothing I can do. Get that money. And the big one that we re-signed was all-pro kick returner Keyshawn Nixon. We needed to bring him back. He brought an energy to our kick return that we have not seen since rookie Randall Cobb. And absolutely impressive that he was all-pro, considering he did not even start the year kick returning. He's only kick returning for like 8 games this year. And he still had over 1,000 yards as a kick returner. And they look to expand his role into defense as well, using him as a nickel corner this year, as he showed some promise there. So really happy we brought him back. Excellent special teams guy. Great kick returner. And yeah, I'm just happy he's back. And then we also re-signed Tyler Davis, a core special teamer, 10 coverage tackles. Not really a great pass catcher, so we'll see what happens with him staying on the team because Bisaccia likes him. So there's him. And then unrestricted free agents, we have Adrian Amos. I don't see him coming back because he just really played really poorly last year, and he's been interested in going to the Ravens, which is close to his home, so out there. Randall Cobb, we're not sure what he is doing. He might be retiring from the league, or he might follow Rodgers to the Jets, depending on how he feels. Mason Crosby, again, don't know what he's doing. He just might retire. And if he does, it's been a great career, Mason. Love you. Gonna miss you, buddy. You have made so many kicks to win the games, and I love you. Love it. Dallin Levitt, again, we signed him. This hasn't been updated quite yet. And then Mercedes Lewis, He is also probably going to go to the Jets if Rodgers goes there. And we'll miss you, big dog. You've been a great influence on this locker room. Been a great guy. And we'll miss you too. But that is what the Packers have done in free agency so far. People say, oh, the Packers are such a quiet offseason, blah, 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 blah. We're just waiting on Aaron Rodgers trade. Once we have that trade, and once we have that, we should be able to see what the team needs more. Because we probably won't pick up a couple picks. I think there's been a player rumored to be involved in there, like Corey Davis as a wide receiver. So that could be interesting as well. The Packers also said they've been interested in adding a veteran wide receiver, potentially free agency as well. So like a guy like Jarvis Landry or someone like that might be interesting. And then, of course, the NFL draft is going to happen. And I assume after the draft, the Packers will make some more moves. And so, even though like there's no big splashes, none at all, I do like most of these signings because almost all these guys were part of the much improved special teams from last season. And that is something we're going to need to keep on improving on because we saw what happened in 2021 with the special teams and how bad it was and how much it cost us games. And so if they could just stay on course and not be a hindrance to the team with guys like Levitt and Ballantyne and Wilson and Nixon, keep them. Keep them for that reason. And so that's just my thoughts on free agency. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Tomorrow even.